Welcome to Devlog number 3 for my weekly Godot project number 4. So I just finished this up now, and here's what I've got. First of all, I just scaled this down a lot compared to what I wanted to start with. So I realized I just wanted too many features, and I guess that's a common mistake to do. I wanted a stats system and an inventory, leveling up and so on. And then I just scrapped all of that stuff, and here I am, and this is what I ended up with. So some new features that I added since the last devlog. One thing is that I adjusted the enemies so that I can give them different ranges. That is, when they are attacked, they will start moving towards the player, and I can adjust the threshold for when they do this individually for each enemy. Major thing, the players can actually die when they have lost all their hit points. They turn into a skull, and obviously the skeletons ignore the dead players and go on to the next one. Then you can drink potions, which are scattered around the dungeon. They will power you up, giving you all your hit points back. And finally, there is a goal and just some funky stuff coming up when you win the game. So that's it. I'm finished, and I'm happy that I'm done with this project. So I guess my biggest takeaway from this project is related to scoping. So I saw just very clearly in this one that I needed to keep the number of features down, and this is true for a small project like this, and I guess even more true for larger ones. One thing that I really like doing these smaller weekly things is that you actually learn a lot, and not only things related to the coding itself. So one really major thing is getting experience with scoping and just falling into the trap of feature creep, even though you think you're really aware of it. And when I get that with these smaller projects, maybe that will help me out before I get to the larger ones, so that I learn this lesson sooner rather than later. So looking forward now, my next two projects, and also a few thoughts on what could be the first of the three larger projects that I will start out with after Christmas. First of all, the next two mini projects, the weekly projects, are going to be, the first one is going to be a tank shooting game like the old PC game Scorched Earth. So I'm thinking something physics-based using rigid body 2D for the movement of the tank itself and also for the missiles. And I'm thinking a slightly large level with 2 or more players, and you can move your tank around and shoot, and it will also be turn-based like the old Scorched Earth. By the way, one thing I like a lot is kind of revisiting old games that I used to play a lot when I was a kid, like Gradius or Nemesis. I used to play that a lot, and Scorched Earth as well. I don't know how many hours I played this with my friends when I was in my teens. So that is one thing that I do enjoy, just to take old games concepts and do remakes of them. So for features and the problem of feature creep, I'll just try to stay clear of that trap and make this really simple. I don't think I'll do different weapons, at least not to start with. Just moving the tank around, making it stand in a natural way on the ground, even when the ground is sloping. And I want a minimap and the option to zoom in and out. And then I want a start menu and a win condition, and that's it. So I'll just try to keep this very simple, and then I have the option to scale it up if I see I have a lot of time. Alright, next project after that will not be much of a game as such, rather more of a concept thing. So I want to focus on character animation for platformer style games. I want to create a sprite character and place it on some type of level, and then I want several animations like for walking, running, jumping, landing, idle, attacking, defending. And the thing here will be to get the transitions between the animations to look right. And for this one, very simple gameplay, just the player character and the movement, and then focus on the animations and the animation transitions. Also, I think I will make the animations myself using a combination of actually drawing on paper and then using Synfig Studio, which is free software. Visually, I want this to be a Spartan hoplite with a spear, and then you can run around, jump, attack, defend, and so on. Well, so that's my next two weekly projects that I'm thinking of. So I guess I should concentrate on one thing at a time, but one thing I didn't really like with this project that I just did now was the planlessness of it. So I think it will be better if I have a more clear plan of what I want to do. And then I think it's good if the ideas have a little bit more time to mature in my mind before I start. So that's why I want to decide a little bit before time now what the next ones are going to be. And then looking even more forward, after New Year for January and February, I'll be doing a slightly larger project, which will be for 4 weeks. I've set aside January and February so that I have enough time. I will try to keep the development time down to 4 weeks, but I have a buffer here. So for this 4 weeks game, I want to finish it, and it will be a complete game, and then I just have a little buffer in case I run into trouble with my scoping and things like that. Anyway, what I'm thinking for the 4 weeks project is actually a card game, which is called, I think, Game of Families. I have this French version, which is called Jeu de cette famille, and the point here is to collect several series of 6 cards called families, and you do this by asking the other players if they have a certain card, but you can do so only if you have at least one card in that family, which will reveal some information about your cards to the other players. So I think this will be simple enough, and I have some idea on how to create a sort of AI for the computer player, and I do think that this will be the biggest challenge here. Okie dokie, that was it for this one. Thanks for watching. I will come up with the first video for my next project on Sunday at the latest, so until then, take care.